So.
Monique, do you have any legal comment on that? Will it open the doors for heroin prescription programs?
I'm going to give you the typical lawyer's answer, which is maybe. And I'm sorry I have to give you that answer, but a lot's going to depend on how the court decides the case. So if we assume a good outcome, there are lots of different ways that the court can get to that outcome. And certainly some of the questions that we got from the bench were directed at how do we put a fence around this thing, or how do we limit this thing? And I think for the most part that's where the questions came from. As the members of the court continue their deliberations, I wonder if some of them will start to ask themselves, should we be trying to limit this thing? And so we'll have to see what they decide. But I think that a positive outcome to the case will have some kind of impact, either direct in a legal sense or indirect in terms of supporting compassionate and humane policy. So I think this is going to be a step down that road.
Okay, great. I really appreciate, thanks to all the panelists, Monique, Liz, communities you could have, and we could have had 8 more panelists up here who are well versed in all this sort of stuff. There's not many communities that have such a rich array of resources to draw upon. So hopefully we can grow this movement across the country. While we have been in this room, there have been little pivot elves putting together an email. The Harper government has pledged, Harper government, his phrase, not mine, has pledged within 100 days of forming a majority government, he will introduce sweeping omnibus crime bill that will bundle all of the Conservatives' previous anti-crime initiatives into a single piece of legislation. Much of this legislation will have serious negative impacts on people living with addictions and in need of health services like Insite, supportive housing, and other medical services that most Canadians have access. So at 9:30 tonight, you're all going to get an email. We have a lot of your addresses. If you want us to have your address, you can. There will be people outside who will take your address. You're going to get an email that's going to ask you to send a letter that's already written. You can write your own. You can change this one, but it's an outline of the letter to the federal leaders in Ottawa, asking them to really think seriously about evidence-based policy and where this omnibus crime legislation is going to take us and what path it's going to take us down in terms of harm, cost, and ineffective methods of punishing people who have health problems. So it's up to you guys to receive the email and do what you wish with it, but we wanted to have a little bit of action come out of this this forum. And forward it to your friends and family and brothers and sisters. And so thank you for the questions. I'm sorry there was about 6 questions I didn't get to, but we really want to be out here by 9 o'clock. We're 3 minutes over time. Thank you for the questions, and thank you all for coming.